Well, hello, YouTube. How are you? Feels like it's been a long time, and it has. So, The Apprentice and I, we did shoot a Sunday stupidity video, but it was too stupid, and I just couldn't upload it. It got bad. Um, let's face it, The Apprentice is my brother, and when we get together, we act like brothers. And so sometimes there's just a little bit too much sophomore humor going on. And it's like, okay, sorry, dude, we can't. I can't post it. What we're looking at here is a proud moment in my life as a knife maker. My dad finally asked me to make him a knife. It's been years. He was like, hey, can you make me a knife? And I was like, really, Dad? You mean you think I'm good enough to make you a knife now? So, proud moment for me. And I asked him, well, what do you want, dude? And he's like, well, I don't know, a knife, which is pretty typical for my dad. So, yeah. I was like, okay, well, I got ideas. So I'm going to make you something, and then you tell me if you like it or not. So, basically, the old man is a pretty simple dude, right? You'd never know that he was a ex-professional athlete, millionaire. He's just a simple, let's face it, he's a honky. There's just no two ways about it. He's about as American Republican as they get. So, but he does use a knife. He's always cutting open things, and he has some little fixed blades that I've made for him over the years. Dad. And he said I'd really like a folder, because I basically he's either reaching for like a razor knife or one of the fixed blades that I've made for him over the years, but he wanted a cool folder, and so I came up with this for him. It's fairly short. Where did that damn ruler go? Oh man, I left the ruler out in the other room. So obviously it's bearing assisted flipper, and M390 for the blade steel. Kind of pointy, kind of sharp. Kind of the point. Get at the point. And so there we go, M390. Just a belt finish for him. Satin flats. Nothing too super fancy. There's an internal stop in there. Over travel. Sorry. Little machined pocket clip. Well, it's not machined. I actually make that on a grinder. So it's a sculpted pocket clip. I think that one matches the shape of the handle kind of interestingly, and definitely does not look like a penis. That's, I hear a lot of that. Looks like a penis. And it blows my mind. Some of you have asked me, how does one cut a lock bar slot like that, Elliot, without water jet? And I cut that with a Dremel, actually, by hand. Just me and a Dremel tool, just cutting away. Yeah, it's doable. So the finish on these titanium slabs is kind of interesting because I wanted to try something a little different. So it's heavy satin and stonewash. No bead blast in there to give us a base layer. A, because I wanted to see what it looked like on a heavy satin, and B, because I wanted it to be a handle finish that because I know it will get dinged and nicked up, but so that it just started out that way. So hopefully the old man will actually carry and use this damn knife, because that was what it was made for. So the only kind of classy thing on here is the Timascus pivot screw. Look at that. Look at it. I didn't actually turn an entire screw out of Timascus. It's actually a just one of the regular torque screws that I use. And when I say regular, they're really not that regular. There's only one place in the world that I've been able to find them in the particular sizes that I want. And so basically, I countersunk it into a piece of Timascus, then turned the Timascus with the screw in it, and over the course of shaping and buffing, it kind of eliminated any kind of seam in there. And then it just so happens that the 18-8 stainless steel that that screw is made out of heat colors very similarly to titanium, so it blended in quite nicely with the Timascus. So it's a cool look. It was actually one of those screws right there. Turned into that. Magic. So that's the only color on this knife. Only thing different than satin. So this knife is a lot about satin. I did actually, what is that called? Orange peel. You can never get it either, Gavco. It's not just you. I did orange peel the outsides of these and the chamfers, just to break it up a little bit. But so it's slightly over 3 inches in blade length, and pretty nice. Little fella. Now, despite it being small, I mean, it's pretty small for me, but the old man has significantly smaller hands than I do. I mean, even though I could get a full grip on this knife. And because it's actually fairly thick, it fits well, even in a big hand like mine. So that's the knife for the old man. Let's compare it to the prototype for model number 2. And what else we got? We got a Pretium sitting around here somewhere. Oh, we got a Tannic. Got a Tannic sitting around here. Where's that Gavco? We got a Gavco sitting around here too. So it's not that crazy. What else I have sitting around here for size comparisons? We got a Pretium sitting around here. I do. Look at that. And he manifests a Pretium. So that's what it looks like comparatively. Thought it was kind of an interesting little piece for the old man. Just something I threw together. Yeah. Speaking of model number 2, so I'm getting a lot closer to being able to have a list open for that. One of the things that I was doing tonight was actually reconfiguring some CAD for it. Those are all the different parts to be made for this one particular knife. So I checked my CAD in some aluminum and found some parts that I didn't like, so I had to alter them. And I've already done it in here. That's what the finished knife will look like. Model number 2. This will be a carbon fiber inlay. The rest will be titanium. Steel is going to be M390. I wanted to use 204P, but there was no more when I went to order it. And I just don't quite have the capital to order it directly from the mill at a minimum order of 500 pounds. For those of you who don't know what that would look like in terms of price, that would be quite a bit. I think that's $10,000 for this deal. Yeah, 10 grand worth of steel. I don't quite have that kind of working capital that I could just drop 10 grand on steel. So that's a blade length on that bad boy. Let's see the overall length. This is the fun part about CAD. Well, one thing I have grown to appreciate about CAD is that it's so much easier to pull dimensions. Roughly that. So that handle length is roughly that. Roughly. I'm just randomly clicking where I think they end, not being completely whatever. So the pivots are going to be a titanium pivot screw from Steve Kelly. He's making some special ones. Not just for me, but okay, just for me. They're going to have internal over travels built into the lock bar inserts. I've done it on a couple of knives, and I like the way it works. Plus, that way I can get away from having to pay Hinder. As much as I like Hinder, yeah. It's like, geez, I gotta pay you all the time. Yeah. That's what happens when you actually license things. You gotta pay for it. They're all gonna have milled pocket clips. That's very difficult to render in 2 dimensions for you to see, but they'll look something like that. Something similar. So they're not crazy massive or anything like that, but they're nice and functional. You'll like them. Because God, everybody wants a milled pocket clip. And if you've asked partner Mark about milled pocket clips, you know that he keeps saying no. And there's a really good reason for that. Not because he's being a dick. It's because we need to get rid out of the pretiums and move on. Because otherwise, instead of making this knife, I'm going to be making milled pocket clips for people. Yeah. Sorry. I got to make knives. And so since I have CAD for this, I know kind of what the run times are going to be, and so I can start putting price figures together for this. And I'm pretty sure that I have all of my numbers back for my material costs on these things. So these are not going to be a cheap knife by any stretch of the imagination. Nor should they be. There's going to be a lot that goes into this time wise. Hopefully here in the next 2 weeks, maybe I'll have. Hopefully, I'm hoping I will have a prototype from CAD. So the way that I do things when I design a knife, now, having learned what I've learned from the Prenams, is I always make a kind of a rough idea of what I want to do, and that's prototype number 1. And then based off of prototype number 1, I create CAD for it. So then we go to CAD. And then I will take CAD and I will actually run parts on the CNC and create prototype number 2. Now, when we did this with pretiums, there was the original pretium prototype. I created CAD, and then I actually created pretium number 1. Because the machining on the pretiums I could actually do by hand, so I took parts from Waterjet and I created pretium number 1 by hand. And so pretium number 1 essentially is and was prototype number 2, and it allowed me to program all the finer points, if you could call them finer points in the pretiums, into CAD a little bit better. And so that's what I'm going to have to do on this, but because it has more complicated machining, there's no way I can do that inlay pocket by hand. I'm just not that good a machinist, so that has to be done by CNC, computer numeric control mill machine. And you didn't save what I did, you bastard. You gonna make me go through and fix that again? Maybe it's on this one. Ooh, I did. I saved it on this one. Excellent. So this is actually, I'm gonna run parts on my CNC. This is literally, this was the pretium plate for the number 97 through 100, and I just left them on here. But I went at their whole locations because I'm gonna take slabs of aluminum and mount them onto this plate and run the handle scales again. I'm going to run a faux blade, and then I'm going to probably throw on some G10 and try and machine out a inlay, and then hope to God that it all fits together. Because, yeah, let's face it, when you're cutting into hundreds of dollars of carbon fiber and thousands of dollars of steel and titanium, you really don't want to make too many mistakes in terms of things that could have been rectified before in CAD. So, yeah, proofing is essential. But CNC is easy, right? It makes this whole knife making process go so much faster. Not really. I, I don't know if Jake has said it. I think he said it, and I'll reiterate it. I don't mind telling anybody about it. Um, Using CAD and CNC to make knives, it's not really all that much more time effective. I mean, the amount of time that you spend generating CAD can be days. Lord knows I've been working on this CAD for a while. Um, because it's not just creating, one thing. For instance, like this, the whole everything, the kit and caboodle, the soup and nuts here of the knife. Then it's transmuting that and creating things like a nested version for my water jet guys. Because as much as I like my water jet guys, sometimes they want to try and space things out a little bit more than I think they need to, and they're just not quite as clever as I am sometimes when it comes to nesting things in CAD, because they're like, well, what if it falls out? I'm like, I don't care if it falls in the water. Scoop it out. I'm like, you can do it. Your tank's not that deep, bro. And so, yeah. I actually just had a meeting with the water jet guys today. Because, I mean, it's not like I have to ship them all the way across the country or anything like that. I mean, literally, I drive down and I drop off material to the water jet guys, and so instead of emailing them back and forth, I was like, Mark, let's just go down there and I can just talk to them face to face. Because usually when I get face to face with people, they tend to be so much more inclined to do what I want. So there's a secondary sheet. Because of course, I buy a bunch of tie, and I'm like, this is not quite enough tie. So I have to buy more. Always. The cleanup sheet, as I like to call it. So it's the one that's going to have most of the pocket clips on it, and the extras. There's one thing I learned from Pretiums: you should cut extra scales and blades, because things happen. We're not perfect. Well, at least most of the time. So that's what's going on with number 2. So I'm going to try and have that open for getting on the pre-order list for that soon, in maybe by the end of the week. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'd like to have that worked out. And so how that's going to work, very similar to how it worked with the Pretiums. You're going to have to contact partner Mark, and you'll be able to find his email on our website, fairandforge.com. And you're going to have to email and say, hey, I want to be on you. I want to be on the list for model number 2. I'm going to give it a name eventually. That's the other thing that's on my agenda for this week, is to create a name for it, so we can call it by a name. Because model number 2 it sounds so Randall Knives. I just don't like it. So we're gonna give it a name. Maybe I'll let Mark name this one. No, I'm not. No, I'll name it. It'll probably be Latin, because I like Latin. And there's going to be a deposit to get on this list, because the other thing that we learned from the printings is that even when you have people commit to something and put down a deposit, they still drop out or become non-responsive. I mean, there are people in the very, very, very early phases of the Pretium pre-order that were all about it and put down money, and then it came time for them to pay the rest of their balance, and they disappeared off the face of the earth, and we couldn't find them. Emailed them for weeks on end, called them, no response. So I was like, okay, super. So it's gonna be a pretty expensive knife. Did I say that? Because I keep saying that, so I don't want anybody to be shocked when we come up with the price for it. It's definitely going to be a lot more than the Pretium, because it's a little bit more advanced than the Pretium. And they're going to run on ceramic bearings. I always say they have lock bar inserts, rolling detents. They're going to be serialized just like the Pretiums were. Here's the there's a little space for the serial numbers. You can't see that. Right there is a little space for the serial numbers to go. And one of the reasons that I like to put them there on the scales and have them machined in is that like anybody can just have their laser guy, laser in a serial number on a blade like you see on a lot of knives. But to actually machine that into CAD as a serial number, that means that you have to change the CAD every single time you change the number. So a little bit more, a bit more of a touch to it. So not just going through and labeling shit with my label maker. No, that was my point. No label maker. So what's up with that? Again, I'll say it again. Probably, don't quote me. Things happen. I get busy with things. Probably have that open. Hopefully by next week. I think that's a good goal. People have been emailing me about customs, and frankly, I'm not sure when I'm going to open my books for customs again. I will eventually at some point in time, but I really need to see how far I can get into my custom list in the roughly the next couple of weeks that I'm going to have here before I have parts for number 2 coming in, model number 2. So I've got stuff sitting on my bench that I started 2 months ago that I need to finish. Some things that have been sort of, and this is why you don't ever tell a maker take your time, because god damn we will. Like this knife has been sitting here for months and months and months, and I really need to make it, finish it, do something to it, because it's already cut, it's already shaped, it needs to become a full-fledged knife. So and then I've got, oh Pete, dude, I'm sorry, I gotta make your knife. It's SM100 for my guy Pete. I gotta make that for him. Yeah. All kinds of good stuff. And then I have a couple of things on my books where, I agreed with the person that I was making that I'd have it done for them by Christmas, because it's a Christmas present for the girlfriend. That's right, Ryan, I'm talking about you. So I gotta make sure I get that stuff done pretty quickly here. And that's about what's going on. It's just trying to keep things moving forward around here, and I think we will. Model number 2. You want to see what model number 3 looks like? Oh yeah, that's right. I've created a model number 3, I think. Show me. Do it. Rough ideas currently. I'd like to do a Warncliffe. I think I'd like to do some kind of milling in the blade. I always like that. And then I'm experimenting with things that I can do that would be evocative of what I do, carve-wise. But go ahead and make them what's this? Nope. I'm going to show you what it looks like. No, that's not the texture. What's profile? Nope. Show me that. So that's what I'm thinking of trying to do. It's kind of Brian Ty-ish. I don't know. I'm gonna keep playing with it and see what I can make my CNC do for me. What does your CNC do for you? Because I'd love to have something that looks like what I do, by hand, carve-wise. But little more refined, as it were. So we'll see what we can make happen here. Maybe. I don't know. I've got all kinds of different things that I was playing with. It takes forever though, doesn't it? Oh, I didn't tool that. Poop. Where'd all my blade profiles go? I love it. This is what I love. Where's my thing with this thing? Oh, wait. Nothing changed? Okay, good. Super. Yeah. Model number 3. Maybe. Lord knows things change around here. Quickly. Often. I change my mind. I like this handle shape though. It's pretty kind of cool. I like it. Blade shape, it might change. We might get rid of this thing out of there. And just have it regular with a cool swedge feature. Maybe. So that's gonna be model number 3. And the goal is to actually, like the tentative get model number 2 completely finished out by is January, the first week of January. That's what we're shooting for. And so as those are leaving, basically we're going to have parts for model number 3 coming in so that I can just keep making cool new models in limited runs. And just keep doing that because it'll be fun. And that way there's going to be something new and hot and fresh coming out of here all the time. And who knows? Maybe this will become a model one day because I like it. It's a pretty cool little knife. And those of you who follow on Instagram know I said I might make something like this knife. I got like one piece of SM100 left that is not spoken for in terms of being on custom knives that I'm going to need it for. And speaking of SM100, it's going to get interesting in the future here because Summit is not making more SM100 plate currently, nor do they have any plans to. So I don't know when I'm going to be able to get a hold of more plate. So people keep, asking me, I'm not taking any custom orders right now, but even some of the people that are on my custom books, if they don't make plate in the next 5 months, we're going to have some discussions because I don't have any thicker plate than 1/8 inch, basically. So we might have to change some things around about some people's knives. But yeah, that's what's up. Super. Well, now that I've taken up 28 precious minutes of your life that you can never have back, I'm going to go get back to work now. See you later, YouTube.